on it, that will be your security or collateral that I will hold in order to do business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well hear this now, Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go, it come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on Saieed. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go to a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Real Talk with Saieed Ali live on Synergy Network from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. with a rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So Trinidad and Tobago, remember, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, it's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Remember, share our live stream, viewers. We always encourage you to share our live stream. Remember that. Also on YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live Trinidad and Tobago. So encourage your friends and family. Remember, we also give you the opportunity to call in our program live at 238-6716. Remember that, viewers. Also a reminder, Real Talk Credit Union Information is giving you the opportunity to open a savings account and a US account for your friends. Encourage your friends, encourage your family, encourage your kids, viewers, to save. Our phone numbers are on screen. Remember, our officer at number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shogunas. Remember. Also, Real Talk is giving you 4% on a fixed deposit savings. Our numbers on screen. Remember, viewers, this is our numbers. Please contact our office to set up an appointment. Nowhere in Trinidad and Tobago you're going to get 4% on a fixed deposit savings. Nowhere. I dare you to compare or match us with anybody else in Trinidad. Remember, our office open from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. viewers, Monday to Friday. Saturday is from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon, both Central and South. So, remember that. I'm also a spiritual consultant. Viewers, those of you who are having spiritual problems, feel free to contact me at any one of the numbers that you saw on screen. So, it's our public concerns night, viewers. It's Wednesday night. We have a little update for you just before we go into that. Going straight to the PM. No local government election date yet. No date as yet. The anticipated date for local government election was not declared today, but the Prime Minister said it can be expected within the next 3 months. Is he willfully delaying the local government election? EBC says that they are ready. EBC says they are ready. Dr. Rowley said that legislation will be brought to the Parliament to validate the work of the local government bodies between the period December 2022 to May 18, 2023, and then for a further 3 months leading up to the election. The piece of legislation is expected to be ready on Monday, 29th of May, 2023. And once this is accomplished, the date for local government election is within 90 days. Listen to this.
Consistent with this advice and decision, the Deputy Chief Parliamentary Council is on standby for the drafting of the necessary legislation to validate all acts of the corporation from December 2022 up to the 18th of May 2023 and for the further 3-month period from 18th of May. This piece of legislation is expected to be ready to be laid in Parliament and debated and taken through all its stages in this Honourable House on Monday the 29th of May 2023. Once this is accomplished, the date for local government within the 90-day window will be announced. And with that, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank you for your cooperation.
However, the PM defended the government decision to extend the life of local government by a year as part of the reform process. The PM said there was nothing in the ruling that said the extension was a breach of people's constitutional rights. He said To this accusation, the government pleads not guilty. At no time the government acted with an malicious intent to citizen rights. He said, listen to this.
On the 18th of May 2023, the Privy Council delivered its judgment. Mr. Deputy Speaker, all 5 judges of the Privy Council decided that a change in the length of the terms of office of the incumbent councillors and aldermen did not amount to a contravention or breach of any provision of the Constitution. This decision, studiously arrived at, did not prevent some of my colleagues in this House and some elements in the media from continuing to accuse the government of Trinidad and Tobago of breaching the constitutional rights of citizens. To this accusation, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the government pleads not guilty. It is important to note that up to Wednesday, 17 May 2023, the government's interpretation prevailed, supported by the reasoned decisions of our local courts, the High Court and the Court of Appeal. This is the proof that our legal and protection systems worked, and at no time did the government act with impunity or wanton disregard for our laws or with any malicious intent towards citizens and their rights.
Now Trinidad and Tobago. Opposition MP Rodney Charles queried the legality of the action of the councillors and regional corporation given the Privy Council's ruling. However, Dr. Rowley sought to assure that there is a responsible, or this is a responsible government in office. My question to you is, did the government willfully intend to take away your rights to vote? What in reform, when they were going to reform with the local election, the local government election, what reform? What reform? The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, LATT, has moved to support public discourse surrendering the Privy Council ruling against the government, extension of the term of local government councillor and alderman. The LATT media release was a response to what it says was an alleged comment by the Attorney General, Regional Amo, that the press was misrepresenting the findings of the Privy Council to the effect that the government had uprooted people's constitutional rights could border the contempt. Now, it added that commentary or commentators on the instant decision cannot interfere with the already completed Privy Council matter, and therefore cannot have the effect of interfering with the administrative or administration of justice. I'm enjoying this, you know. I'm enjoying this. The release further noted the clear implications of the Privy Council ruling are that the government must call local government election as soon as possible and must consider validating legislation to remedy any illegality that may have ensued as a result of the postponement of the local government election. So even the LATT of Trinidad and Tobago, even the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago is telling the government, hurry up! Hurry up! Bring legislations. Whatever you have to legislate, bring it forward. And call local government election as soon as possible. Now, the Prime Minister said that they were never taken away the rights or interfered with the rights of the citizen. But it ended up in court. They wanted to extend the life of the alderman and councillors. Why? Why? Tell the citizen why. Explain to us why you wanted to continue for 1 year. Why you wanted to give them a 1 year extension. What was the reason? What was the purpose of this thing? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Up on you say to reform. Reform what? What are you going to reform? You come out and tell the citizens of our country, what were you going to reform with the local government election? Because I want to know. I want to know. Because according to the Privy Council, what you did was illegal. What the government did was illegal. And here we have Regional Armo saying that the government had a win. What win did Armo, or what win was Armo talking about? What win? With the $1 billion that the courts have to award Trinidad and Tobago by the airport contract businessmen and them. Are you talking about that $1 billion that the government won? Or are you talking about the Privy Council ruling, which the government did illegally according to the Privy Council? So what win are you talking about, Amo? Tell the citizen, what win are you talking about? What did the government win? I would like to know. Good night.
Good night, Saeed. This is your partner, the imitation vaccine vegan.
Go right ahead.
Last week in the parliament, no, not in the parliament, on the UNC platform, MP Saddam Hussein said, Anand SC, hang the AG Jack. So today in parliament, I watching, and you know what Saddam did? Saddam get him to apologize, get the AG to apologize for him for misleading parliament. So you know what he did? I'm going to use another helpful term. He's saying bullseye on the AG, and that tells me the AG is running afoul. This should take away his slip. And the other thing, the Prime Minister spent 20 minutes to rehash the Privy Council verdict. Everybody know they mislead us, and the Privy Council tell them they have to call the election well, they didn't say it out in plain and proper terms, but the judgment was to do election, and the Prime Minister waste 20 minutes of people's time. So I want him not to tote feelings, but we have to vote him out. So, you know, the new slogan is, don't vote, vote. We're going to do that for him when we call the election. I'm going to have a nice evening.
My friends of Trinidad and Tobago, I want you to understand something. Keith Rowley said, the government is not guilty. They wanted to extend the life of the councillors and the alderman. They wanted to, they said it would have been reform process. But in the local government election, you were going to reform that you had to extend for 1 year those who were serving the office of the councillors and the aldermen. Why couldn't you call the local government election and after see about the reforming process? So this is what I'm getting at. What in the local government election you were going to reform that these individuals had to have an extension? What? Why? When? What was the purpose? So Trinidad and Tobago, moving along. President of the Supermarket Association, Rajiv Dipti, wants more joint patrol after hours, as those are the time business are targeted, and efforts to help curb the chronic issues of shoplifting. I had to say that 3 times, you know. There's a lot of shoplifting and robbery going on in the supermarket. Earlier this year, Dipti called for the increased police patrol as shoplifting was on the rise. Speaking in the Senate, National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines stated that the police are making efforts to tackle shoplifting at supermarkets. Hines said the police has since begun enhanced stakeholder engagement with supermarket owners and business community. Some of the efforts include increased stop and search efforts in and around business areas, which includes supermarket. Another strategy Hines listed was active direct patrol. Let's listen to our Minister of National Security.
Mr. President, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues to review existing policies and to strategize in an effort to reduce all crimes, inclusive of shoplifting. The TTPS has noted the request made by the Supermarkets Association for more police patrols in an attempt to curb the incidence of shoplifting at supermarkets. The TTPS, through enhanced stakeholder engagements, will continue to partner in matters aimed at reducing and preventing criminal activities in communities across the country. Some of the strategies being implemented by the TTPS to address these incidents of shoplifting include stop and search exercises, where the TTPS conducts scheduled operations within divisions, paying particular attention to the business areas where supermarkets are located and might be operating at those times. Implementation of the active directed patrols. This is a scientifically driven patrol initiative that utilizes CAPA, or crime and problem analysis data, to map patrol zones and beats.
The Minister stated that these patrols are mandated to make public space and focal point, as some operations have been intensified to target particular vehicles type that are known to the police for engaging in that kind of criminal activity. Listen to him one more time.
These active directed patrols are mandated to make public spaces a focal point, inclusive of business districts of their patrol routes, and some operations have been intensified to target particular vehicle types and prolific offenders that are generally known to the police for engaging in that kind of criminal activity, with a view to stymie those occurrences.
So now, viewers, with the Minister of National Security saying that, we took the opportunity to contact the President of the Supermarket Association, Mr. Rajiv Dipti. Good night, my friend.
Good night, Saeed, and good night, Trinidad and Tobago, and to all your viewers.
Now, with the current issue being faced by the Supermarket Association, what are some of the defense that you all have put in place for yourselves as supermarket owners?
Well, Saeed, and a reference must be made the burgeoning crime situation that we've experienced ballooning in the last 6 months in Trinidad and Tobago. Last week we had a chamber of chambers meeting, and I did not know a single person who did not acknowledge that they were in fact affected severely by the crime situation. In our case, inside the supermarkets, what we are seeing right now is more rampant and frequent shoplifting. We have been working with the community policing units to try and ensure that there are more frequent and visible patrols. However, they are letting us know that they also have limited resources. In some cases, vehicles and manpower are issues. What supermarkets are facing right now, and the wider retail community, is having to ensure that we have the physical security in addition to the CCTV cameras, in addition to all the security systems and checks that we put in place to ensure that customers can ensure a high level of secure shopping environment when they come inside the stores. But I have to point out to you, Saeed, that security is one of the top 3 costs in our sector right now, and the costs are only increasing. So there is certainly a case to be made for crime impacting the cost of operations and the cost of food right now, as it's also affected some of our distributors. So we are working with the police, but I mean, by and large, we've seen a lot of community supermarkets being targeted because they're very vulnerable. You see the guys coming with the guns, they get over the counter, they empty the cash registers. These are things that are alarming. We also have more sophisticated crime taking place. Cyber attacks have become something to look out for in 2023, so we are working on all fronts.
Now, what are some of the items that are most shoplifted by shoplifters in the supermarket? Can you just give us an idea of some of the items?
Sure, I can tell you what some of the most frequent shoplifted items that are reported back to the association. And it's not just basic items for your viewers to be aware of. It's high value items, things like baby formula, things like coffee, things like cheese. Alcohol has always been typically under lock and key in most of these stores, or behind a counter where someone has to retrieve it for you. Some stores have taken to placing items under lock and key. I've seen it with cheese, some of the luxury meats and seafoods, etc., because they cannot bear to sustain the losses. There are persons moving around in what we're describing as gangs. Organized pilferage is taking place. We are seeing it internally within our network. We are sharing the information and evidence between ourselves and police. But what we're noticing is that in the absence of proactive policing, we have to put systems in place ourselves to ensure that we are protected. So if they could break the seal on a flour inside the store, if they could break the seal on our oil inside the store and find ways to empty it into something else to move around, it's very, they get very creative side.
Now, could you give us an average cost of how much extra security or security will be, the price of a firm that will charge you for security?
It's expensive side, and it really depends on the size of the store. What each supermarket is urged to do within the membership ranks is to conduct a vulnerability assessment of your premises. That would be the physical infrastructure, that would be the human resource element within the staff as well, that would be the systems that you have in place for point of sales, for accounting, warehouse inventory, so at least you could pick up shorts and losses within the system as, not over a longer period of time, but quicker. Security firms are expensive. Armed security is typically very expensive. Unarmed security is very good at detecting. We get mixed results with that, but if you have good security, it's a deterrent to potential theft, but it's still an additional cost you have to bear. Also keeping in mind the size of the supermarket, when it's peak times, you might have to have more security out there. And it's really about getting your systems right, but it comes at an onerous cost to the establishment. What we're also seeing right now in some communities is that after hours, close to the twilight time when it's getting dark, people tend to stay away from the shopping centers and the high streets because they have come to terms with the fact that the criminal element is something that affects them. So the clientele of a certain establishments are put off. So you're going to see some stores actually closing a little bit earlier as a result because it does not make sense for them to incur the overheads to keep their operations running. So there are various challenges and there are certain connotations that crime is creating, and it's affecting productivity, it's affecting revenues, it's affecting the circular economy of communities.
Well, Mr. Rajib, I do want to thank you so much for taking time out to give us that bit of information, and I hope the public do acknowledge it. So thank you once more.
You're very welcome, and a very good night to your viewers. Have a good one, Trinidad and Tobago.
So viewers, that was the president of the Supermarket Association, Mr. Rajiv Dipti. We are going for a short commercial break, viewers, but when we come back, we're going to start our public concerns night right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's going live on Synergy Network.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saeed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Realtor Credit Union information stores are now open to members of the public. We are located at the Realtor Group of Companies building at number 14 Carney Savannah Main Road. Opening hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us via telephone at 238-6716 or 231-6219 to book your appointment. You can also stay connected with us via Facebook.
Welcome to Real Talk, viewers. Now remember, Real Talk Credit Union information is offering you the opportunity to open savings account for your kids. You can start as low as $100. $100 to open a savings account for your kid. Remember, it is important to save for your kids. Why? Because kids are the next generation of judges, lawyers, MPs. Remember that. Doctors, nurses, mechanics, salesperson, technicians, remember that, and they need money. They need to save money in order to have a bright future. Remember that, parents. Also, Real Talk is giving you 4% on fixed deposit. Remember, you can't get that nowhere in Trinidad and Tobago. This is from Real Talk. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. The highest interest paid in Trinidad and Tobago is from Real Talk. So viewers, call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed. I'd like to make a few points very quick on your show, sir, today.
Go right ahead.
Okay, sir. Mr. Saeed Ali, I am not no party sizer. I am not a PNM, I am not a UNC, and I am not no party.
Okay.
Today I am watching through my cable, and I came up with the Parliament channel. and I start watching the Parliament channel and taking the debate on certain bills that was in Parliament. After the government then spoke, I saw Ms. Kamala Prasad Bissessa brought to the House where our Prime Minister lied 3 times in Parliament. Now, Mr. Saeed, we have to look at this very serious. We having a Prime Minister that lied in Parliament, right? And she had proven that he had been lying. That is one thing. Second issue, very quick, local government reform. Mr. Saieed Ali, this Prime Minister and his government know that local government reform is attacking the workers of local government also. And he knows that if he called election now, local government reform will kick him out from all 14 corporations. And that is the reason why Saieed Ali, this man does not want to honor the Privy Council and call election. That is the second thing. But the third thing, sir, is I want to make a call and a plea to the daily rated workers of these local government corporations that workers, this local government reform is to throw all you out from the local government working system and bring in young leaders to run local government. And I want all you to know that we have to vote against local government. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. So finally, somebody came out and said it. Finally. You see, if you all heard it from me, you all will say, oh, go outside, you're bashing the Prime Minister, you're bashing PNM. No, I don't bash. I hold them accountable and I demand certain things from them to your heirs, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So you're here now for your own self why the government is prolonging the local government election. You understand now? Oh, Saeed, you're be bashing, and you're this, and you're that, and you're the next. You ain't know what you're saying. Thank God, somebody said it to all you. Paula, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead, your life.
I was just listening to the Minister of National Security on your program, and he said we will be targeting certain types of vehicles.
Yes.
Like a type of racially profiling poor people. Because not everybody will be driving them type of vehicles are criminal. You know, they tried that foolishness in New York in the 90s and it didn't work out too good. Them donkey head boy, that man is the most donkey head man I ever seen in my life. They're profiling people now. All right, brother.
Thank you, my friend. So you see, viewers, why? You see why we name it Real Talk with Saieed Ali? You see why we highlight so much of what the government is doing in Trinidad and Tobago? Because I want you to understand what is taking place in our country. I am not for UNC. Let me tell you something. I am not affiliated with no political party. I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago who decided to spend my money on a program, hire a team, pay synergy, to educate you, the citizens of our country. And also now, we pay a phone company to get a line, to make sure it have a line you could call to express your concerns. But yet, Saeed, you're bashing. It's sad, boy. It's sad. So as we start our public concerns tonight, more than 100 Caribbean Dockyard and Engineering Service Limited workers staged a protest at the entrance to the Shagarama Sport after they were temporarily laid off. The workers were served letters last Tuesday informing them that they will be laid off for 90 days from June 1st to August 31st. They claim the action is an attempt to delay the recognition of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union, SWWTU, as a majority union. SWWTU General Secretary Peter Morris stated that the union has started talks with the officials of Caridoc and the Ministry of Labour to secure recognition as bargaining agents for the workers. According to Morris, the workers are concerned about possible job loss, and the movement goal is to ensure that those are no longer at a work table age received some form of economics benefit to secure their future. Smart move, look at that. All in negotiation presently for them to be recognized as bargaining agents, but all of a sudden now they come and they get letters for 90 days. So it's a prolong of everything. So after the 90 days, what you might get? A dismissal letter? I don't know, I'm just saying something. You might get a dismissal letter after 90 days? We don't know. Because a bargaining chip is presently on the table. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? At present, a floating dock at the port is being repaired after sinking a few weeks ago. Morris said the government should have been aware of the condition of the floating dock and related infrastructure before acquiring the company. So they buy a company with a dock that sank. Who money pay for that? The Prime Minister money pay for that? The Energy Minister money pay for that? The Finance Minister money pay for that? No! You and me contributed taxes that bought that. He added that instead of being laid off, the worker should have been allowed to perform other duties while the floating dock is being repaired. Just imagine that I'll hear this. At present, a floating dock at the port is being repaired. After sinking a few weeks ago, Morris said the government should have been aware of the condition of the floating dock and related infrastructure before acquiring the company. Anybody have anything to say concerning that? The government bought a company that has a floating dock, but the thing is the dock sank. The dock sank, and they still went and purchased it. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Said. Mr. Said, everybody is complaining about local government have problems. Local government have problems. Local government have problems. But Mr. Said, the problem that local government have is the administration that is in the councillor side. Mr. Said, you wouldn't believe how much overspend and bad spend and unnecessary money is being spent from the corporation. And for example, I would like to tell you something. $56,000 from the Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation went to buy roses and flowers. Roses and flowers. And when we talk about local government, I am working at the Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation for 43 years, Mr. Saieed Ali. I have never seen the Minister of Local Government. In the past, 2 ministers came to our corporation and asked not a word. And a result of that, the overrunning spending, giving out contracts to friends and families, and using the corporation workers to do the contract. This is bubble. Why the ministers does not come and see what the councillors is doing in the various corporations? That is what they have to correct. Remove all the councillors from the corruption that they're in contractual arrangements with work in all the corporations, and especially Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation.
So caller, stay on the line. You there? You there? You on the line? Caller, you there? Apparently he gone. I was going to ask him, what do you think about the extension for the councillors for 1 year? You know, I hear Bacchanal. Here I hear Bacchanal. Trinidad and Tobago, I just highlighting what's taking place, you know. I am wisening you as individuals of what is taking place in the government. Oh, Saieed, you're bashing. When you had to buy a BMX bicycle to go to work, then you're going to know. Then you're going to be calling me, Saieed, you are saying nothing. But until time I was bashing. Employees of Caribbean Industrial Research Institution, Retiree, staged a protest outside their workplace at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, over their stalled wage negotiation. They said they have not had a wage increase in more than 6 years. Speaking on behalf of the workers, Deputy Leader of the Banking Insurance and General Workers Union, BIGWU, Jason Brown, explained that they met with management of Retiree and they have asked for a counter proposal regarding salaries, but to date, none was given. Brown stated that the next step is to send a letter to the company seeking another meeting. However, he said Retiree management should take the demonstration as a warning. Contacted for comments, a Retiree official added that they are still discussing non-cost items such as maternity leave. However, both parties agreed they would get back to each other before arranging another meeting. No paternity leave. None. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the bee invasion in Mayaro last Wednesday after this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Realtor Credit Union information stores are now open to members of the public. We are located at the Realtor Group of Companies building at number 14 Crony Savannah Main Road. Opening hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us via telephone at 238-6716 or 231-6219 to book your appointment. You can also stay connected with us via Facebook. Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Welcome back to Real Talk viewers. A swarm of bees caused chaos in Mayaro last Wednesday, attacking passers and forcing the evacuation of several market vendors. A swarm of Africanized killer bee descended on the town, chasing after pedestrians as they walked past the Mayaro market. President David Tang, who was stung all over his body, said there have been several polls where the bee have been building hives, and residents have been reporting the bees to several government agencies, but nothing has been done. Nothing have been done about it. Thank call on the authorities to move swiftly to kill the insects. Imagine, these are killer bees. Killer bees. And the government agency is not helping. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. It's just a time of kicks and laughter that is taking place in the government presently. Caller, good night.
Yeah, Said, you was going to ask me a question just now. Said, the question to having the extension of the councillors in local government is only one word to use. That is dictatorship, Said. That is high dictatorship. You cannot do that on your own. Who are you? Who are you? This is dictatorship. Nothing more than that, Said. One word. One word. That.
My friend, thank you so much for calling back. Thank you so much. Back to Maya. At the market, vendors hurriedly packed up their goods and evacuated. Those who were reluctant to leave their goods and sales lit a fire on the ground to ward off the insect. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Oh, hey, let me tell you something. We live in a real kicksy time, you know. Kicksy time when nothing has been taken serious of. Absolutely nothing is being taken serious. President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, OWTU, Ansel Roger, has once again highlighted the plight of former petroleum workers, retirees, and retrenched who are suffering owing to the company closure. Speaking to affected persons at Guayakara Park, Pointe-à-Pierre, Roger recalled that when the state-owned refinery closed in November 18, the government terminated the existing medical plan for both workers and retirees. The plan was negotiated, term and condition of employment registered at the industrial court. Roger said affected persons were supposed to benefit from the pension and medical plan. However, those matters were in jeopardy because of the appeal by Petrotrin. He recalled all of Petrotrin medical centers were shut down when the company closed. He added that these centers were supposed to provide medical coverage for workers and their spouse during working life and in their retirement age until death. He said the centuries are now dilapidated. So what about the monies that were contributed now from the individual who worked at Petrotrin to a medical plan? What become of that? Whose pocket did that money go in? Whose pocket did that money went in? Anybody in energy, such as the Minister of Energy, answer that question? What about Stuart Young? Can he answer that? I am definitely sure it is hundreds of thousands of dollars went into that medical plan. Who benefited from it? Who benefited by collecting those money? And that is a serious question. Residents of Reese Road, St. Cross Road in Barrapo are calling for an assistance from the Ministry of Works and Repair to poor conditions of the roadway in their area. Residents added that while upcoming rainy season, they are fearful that the roads will become more deplorable. So look at these roads, viewers. Which road sign crossing Barapo? Look at that. Move the CG. Look at that. It's sad, you know. Look at the condition of this road. What about the councillor? What about the MP? Are they visible in the community? It's sad. It's really, really sad. So know that is what they are facing. And the rainy season is coming up. Look at the condition of the road. Look at it, people. Moving along. Residents of Diaz Road, Tabakita are appealing for assistance to repair a broken bridge. The residents fear that as the rainy season approaches, it may deteriorate and become impassable. Is the bridge? Look at that. Look at the Trinidad and Tobago. What about the bridges division in works and transport? What happened to them? That department functioning? The bridge department or the bridges department in works and transport, their job is to make sure the bridges of Trinidad and Tobago are well kept. What are those individuals doing? What is the supervisor doing? What is the management for bridges doing? Let me tell you something. In Trinidad, we're too happy. We're too happy. That is why I just stink up departments. Once you're running by the government, I stinking you up on national television. So whether I be the supervisor, whether I be the manager, whether I be the general manager, whether I be the engineer, your job is to go around Trinidad and make sure the bridges in the communities are solid and in perfect condition. You're getting paid to sit down and scratch your behind. You're getting paid to suck salt. Moving on to Penal area. Penal Debe Regional Corporation Chairman Dr. Alan Sami is not satisfied with a river cleaning done by the Ministry of Works and Transport in the district. In response to comment by Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan about the 500 distilling project undertaken by the ministry, Sami said cleaning of watercourse in Penal Debe was done only in parts. He stated that where there is high visibility, the ministry is cleaning those parts of the watercourse, while above and below, that the watercourse are not being cleaned. Sami said 60,000 of Penal Debe to 90,000 residents are impacted directly or indirectly when there is flooding. And he called for a comprehensive cleanup program from the sources of the water to the exit point in the Gulf of Paria. He said that over the next 25 working days, the corporation did a massive bulk waste cleaning exercise and approximately 600 loads were removed and drains were cleaned. So what exactly did the Ministry of Works and Transport cleaning crew did? If Sami is claiming that 600 loads were moved within 25 working days, what did the Works and Transport Minister or his ministry did in the Penal Debe area. What did he do? So here it is. Upgraded pump and floodgate. Work on a bank of the Caroni River and more than 500 distinct programs are among the flood prevention work being done on drainage infrastructure ahead of the rainy season. Works and Transport Minister gave the information in response to a question from Opposition Senator Wade Mack, who asked whether anything was being done to prevent a recurrence of the excessive water experience or the excessive flooding experience last year. CNN stated that Works Minister is already, or the Works Ministry is already developing strategies. Really? I'll listen to this.
Mr. President, the Ministry of Works and Transport has been pursuing a strategic drainage plan with the Andean Development Bank focused on the review and update of existing studies and the development of studies in new areas. As part of this process, stakeholders are consulted and feedback analyzed in the development of proposals. I thank you.
Through you to the Honorable Minister, what is the status of this particular study that he has outlined?
Minister of Works and Transport.
Thank you. Mr. President, this plan is an ongoing plan with certain aspects of it having already been delivered. Several projects have also been identified and are being scoped for tendering coming out of this process. As I said, the process is made up and is an ongoing process. It has started. We already have boots on the ground in several areas coming out of this study. Thank you.
So now, viewers, CNN also noted that the ministry had early warnings of an above-average rainy season this year, and that was why the Senate was debating the supplemental funding in the sum of $300 million for drainage. Hear the figures now and listen to this.
We got early warning of above average rainy season, and that is why we're here today to debate the let me just get the exact word, the variation of appropriation for fiscal 22-23, where the ministry have been allocated funding, especially in the area of drainage. And the reason for that additional funding is to take care of the identified projects to help with the reduction in flooding in several areas. And as part of the debate today, you will hear from the Ministry of Works that we have targeted over 500 desilting programs. That is the most desilting programs ever attempted in the history probably of Trinidad and Tobago. We are also continuing work on the upgrades of pumps and gates, where we have, if you look in terms of the Deep South area, new pumps with capacity of close to 40,000 gallons per minute.
Hopefully we're going to see how the Penal Debe is going to be in the rainy season. It has just started. 40,000 gallons of water per minute will be exiting through the floodgate. All we could do is wait and see how sound and solid that is. I am not going to judge him as yet. Not as yet. We're going to wait and see. So viewers, you are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are live on Synergy Network Monday to Friday, where we run the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Remember, Real Talk Credit Union Information is giving you the opportunity to open savings accounts, and Real Talk is also giving you the opportunity to own 4% on a fixed deposit. So viewers, until we meet again, good night.